Now I've got all of the exterior walls drawn in. Take the select tool, triple click to select all of the edges and surfaces associated with the exterior walls, then right click and select the option there for Make Group. Then go over into the Layers window. Up at the top of the screen, you'll see the option there for Window, Layers. This is a big topic. A lot of people asking about layers in SketchUp, especially because layers are so predominant in terms of being a topic for the CAD files that you're working in. I know if you're working in AutoCAD or Vectorworks, there can be some pretty heated discussions that go on about layers and use of layers and being really careful about the layers that things are on. So this next part might seem a little bit painful. But when we're working in SketchUp, layers in SketchUp and layers in CAD work a little bit differently. In CAD, for example, you can have two lines sitting right on top of each other. And as long as those lines are on different layers, you can keep both of those lines right on top of each other, have one for, say, the walls layer and another one for the windows layer or the doors layer. And those two lines will be perfectly happy sitting right on top of each other on different layers. As soon as you bring your CAD file into SketchUp, those two lines are going to glue together. They're going to stick together, merge together, and become one line. And if they were on two different layers in CAD, SketchUp is going to decide what layer those go on when you bring them into SketchUp. This is another problem when working on CAD files, especially if you're using a process that involves either the pencil tool to get surfaces to fill in, or using a process like Make Faces to get surfaces to fill in, is that if you're really strict or if you're really expectant about the way that layers are going to work, you're going to find that the layers for your edges and then surfaces and then objects are all going to end up on these really weird layers, especially if you're using the layers that you inherited from CAD. So what I like to do is work on things a little bit differently. I tend not to think about the layers that I have in my CAD drawing. In fact, about 99% of the time, if I import a CAD file into my SketchUp model, one of the very first things that I'll do is go over to the Layers window, select all of the layers. You can do that just by clicking the first layer, then hold down the Shift key, and then click on the last layer down at the bottom. You'll see an option there for Delete. And the option here for moving all of the content onto the current layer is the one that you want to pick, and then just delete them. Those layers aren't really doing you any good in SketchUp. So what we do here instead is create our own new layers based on the stuff that we're actually modeling in SketchUp. So here, now that we've got the exterior walls modeled and turned into a group, go to the layer menu, create a new layer, and I'm going to call this Walls Exterior and hit Enter. That doesn't necessarily mean that the walls are on that layer yet. All we've done is create a layer for them to go on. The next thing we need to do is go to the Entity Info window. And again, you can access that either with Window, Entity Info, or you can right-click on the walls and select the option for Entity Info. Either way works. And then in the Layer menu, we just want to pick the wall's exterior layer. And now those walls are on the exterior walls layer in our SketchUp model.